Call the village board meeting in the Lisbon Village Hall on Wednesday, November 6th, 2024, at 6:39 p.m. Roll call, please.
President Osterman.
Here.
Trustee Beal. Here. Trustee Moonen.
Here.
Trustee Flotacker.
Here.
Trustee Quinn.
Here.
Utility Accountant Sergeant.
Here.
Administrator Nicholas. Here. Treasurer Gerard. Here. And Clerk Spencer Catch to record the minutes.
And we just did the pledge of allegiance about.
Do we?
Yeah, you have one.
I don't have.
We don't have one.
Did you?
No, I don't know. I have a budget. I was gonna say, what am I missing something here?
It looks like they got set aside.
You don't get any information.
I guess. Okay. pass
You
this
wanted a
over.
quick meeting.
Yeah. he did.
So there was everything I did that.
Yeah, I did it. I'm just wondering where all this paper was.
As we just said, the pledge of allegiance about 4.5 minutes ago, we were going for the. For this meeting. Item 3 is citizens' comments. Anyone wish to make any comments tonight?
Nobody on Zoom anymore.
Item 4 is the consent agenda. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered in one motion unless a village board member requests that an item be removed. We have the October 9th, 2024 village board minutes, which we actually do not have tonight. We'll be foregoing those. We have the 2024-2025 county tax collective agreement, the approval of the final plat for October Field subdivision, and the approval of the Rabazon
I believe so, yep.
quote for a spare pump at Richmond School lift station. So we'd be looking for B, C, and D, a motion to approve unless anyone would like to remove anything for consideration.
Make a motion to approve 4A through 4D as presented.
Not A though.
Sorry, A out.
B, C, D.
Correct.
All right, is there a second to that?
I'll second.
Paula? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, accounts payable. Authorizing the payment of the Falls Auto Parts bill dated 10/26/24 for $1,024.43 and 11/1/24 for $37.76. Any questions or is there a motion on this? Is
I'll make a motion to approve 5A.
there a second?
I'll second it.
Becky? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That is roll. Item B, the remaining bills dated 10/26/24 for $541,620.84 and 11/1/24 for $89,679.23.
Five expenses for $35,403.97 with mere building inspections, $11,722.40 to municipal lawn renovation, $7,390 to Washington County Treasurer, $4,978.30 to traffic and parking control, and $45,000 to public administration associates. $168,288.50 is tax construction, $99,123 to farm and asphalt, $86,550.01 to and $1 to Washington County Treasurer, $85,153.50 to U.S. Bank Clerk, and $14,170 for public last year.
Any questions or comments, or is there a motion on the registers?
I'll make a motion that we approve the remaining bills dated 10/26 for $541,620.84 and 11/1 for $89,679.23.
Motion made, is there a second?
I'll second.
Becky, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item C, the utility district bill dated 10/31 for $25,680.36.
We have a couple of hearings for $5,925. Tax management LLC for $4,957.57. Village of Sussex for $14,613.50. And we energies for $234.77.
Any questions or comments on utility bills?
Could you please explain what the $5,875 is for Kunkel?
Broken down into basically 5 activities. So one is, and the largest amount every month is the call out for a digger's hotline. So Kunkel Engineering responds to all the call outs. And they've been running pretty high with the number of properties that have been going up for sale. There's been a lot of calls, more so this year than prior years. They also are billing for preparation for the Public Works meeting. And then also for the development of a number of maps, both paper and GIS maps that are there. And then lastly, they've been working one-on-one with the Richmond School on the investigation in possible infiltration at that location, and also the maintenance program that's taking place for the lift station at the Richmond School for the fire station. And then this last month, there was some additional work relative to the possibility of a gravity system going in for a period, but that's typically pretty standard for what their monthly bill would be.
Would you explain again why Kunkel goes out when there's a resale?
When what?
When there's a when there's a sale?
Well, anytime that there's a call out through Digger's Hotline. So they want to locate the realty
Right.
or they want to locate the property line, then they're called out if there's sewer in the neighborhood. So they get called out a lot.
Is there any way, and this is just a thought, because generally that costs us as a district pretty much money. Can you turn around and, like we do, they pay us, what is it, $25 or $30 a month for the title? They call the office and we get to bill them because of your time. Is there any way that we could recoup some of that at all?
We don't really know, we don't know what locations there are, and would suspect that it's going to get to be more of a paperwork nightmare trying to keep track of all those locations and then
Okay.
having to,
Oh,
the biggest cost is when there's an emergency call, if there's a fire or something that happens
Sure.
in the evening or during the off hours, and then they have to respond immediately.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments on utility bills? Or is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve utility district bills dated 10/31 as presented.
I'll second.
Becky, second by Mark. Any final discussion? All in favor, say aye.
I,
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 6 is announcements and correspondence. We have the Public Works and Utility Committee meeting on Wednesday, November 20th, here at the Village Hall at 5 p.m. We have the Planning Commission meeting on Wednesday, 12/4, at the Richard Young Fire Station at 6:30 p.m. Then we have the Parks Committee meeting on 12/11 at 5 p.m. at the Village Hall. And the next village board meeting is also on the 11th of December at 6:30 p.m. at the Village Hall. Do we have any other announcements or correspondence from anyone? Item 7, Administrator Report.
We're working on compensation, the budget. We are in the process of bringing our computers in from the fire stations to upgrade the ones that are being used in the office and the DPW parks to upgrade them. They're starting the process of getting ready to use the new server. The server will be brought in here, and we'll have a new server, so we won't be on virtual machines any longer. That the locks at Richard Young Fire Station changed. In the community room, the election closets, and the records management room. Wiring is being done, or was done today at Richard Young to take the electronic sign from the fire station portion and bringing it into the community room so we can change things that are on the sign. And also making sure that our wireless and our internet connection within our area doesn't inhibit what we walk in, so we can make it. That's than, mostly what's being done on that area. We're gonna start tomorrow, moving some things into the records management. Room, and doing some areas. That's all I've got for you.
Any questions for Kathy? Thank you, Kathy. Item eight, treasurer, quarterly report.
Okay, I will start off with some general updates and tax updates before moving on to the financials. I received my treasurer certification in September, and I'm enrolled in an investment certification program next week. I attended the fall treasurer conference, and then also the Ellers levy limit workshop. I attended a couple different district meetings, and more recently, I learned about the innovation grants where we are currently not eligible to apply for funds right now regarding the fire department, but there are grants out there for transferring and combining fire services with our other municipalities. I've been in touch with the DOR, and they said to just keep listening for updates on that because a lot of the requirements could change between now and when the application is live, which is July of 2025. So I will keep you posted if anything changes. We are not eligible due to the fact that the contract was signed prior to, they haven't even released the administrative rule date, but they think it may be November 13th or 15th. So I will keep you posted. In addition to working on the tax bills in November, I am updating a lot on the website. So the treasurer page for tax season, the garbage page with the new vendor information, the budget page. I'll update the budget in the software as well. It's necessary for the prelim audit, which is next month. Additional website work includes the event calendar and all of the news flash articles and the notify me alerts. I start drafting all of that at the end of the year for the beginning of the year then, and then the alerts all start to go out for the interest lists. Lisa handles the garbage calendar and alerts now, which has been really helpful. And I plan to train one of the deputies to help with the annual revisions of the new resident packet that is online. The preliminary audit work papers are due in December, and that is scheduled for December 19th and 20th. The final audit is scheduled for the week of March 24th, which is the same timing as last year. Regarding taxes, the 2023 taxes are balanced and reconciled, including the direct distribution changes. I attended a meeting for the tax bill prep in October, and those the inserts have been finalized, approved as of last week. Kathy and I have been working on garbage and stormwater units, which are reconciled as of this week. We will be waiting for the delinquent utility bills, and then I will submit those over to the county November 18th, as residents have until the end of day, November 15th to pay. Then we will finalize the bills with the county and the printer, and the county's target date is 11/21 through Thanksgiving for bills to be approved. The statutory date for mailing is 12/16 this year, but we will be, our goal is to mail early December, the first week of December. In terms of tax rate negotiations and our bank account that has been done for the upcoming tax season, Waukesha State Bank will match LGIP rate again this year. Despite the upcoming Fed rate cuts, we should still be earning around 4%. So that would be in December, January, and February on our high bank balances in the tax account. So moving on to the financials in your packet. So right after the check registers, I'll speak to the summary page first. On top, revenues. As of the end of September, we've received just over 90% of our budgeted revenues. Upcoming revenues are approximately, down below, you'll see 465,000. In aids, I'm not including the quarry payment down there. And then you can notice a $40,000 sale of capital assets. Those are trucks listed under the other financing sources. The total expenditures account for 55% of the budget as of September 30th. So if you include the sinking funds transfer, then we're at 65%. Regarding debt service, the upcoming debt payments, November, there was an interest payment to Sussex, and that has cleared. And then I just listed January, those are upcoming loans. Then let's move on to investments. You flip the page. Total investments as of September are approximately 11.4 million. That's right in the middle of the page. Total interest earned for Q3, July, August, and September, 174,348. You'll notice the interest income is slightly higher than Q3 of last year by 21,000. And that is partially due to the direct distribution of those tax credits, as that was $10,000 extra earned with us holding that money instead of the county. I also listed the history of our quarterly interest down at the bottom, just so you can see a historical comparison with the pandemic. Touching on CDs, so that is in the middle of the page. The Town Bank 12-month CD that accrued over 10,000 in 2024. And at September maturity, I did add funds I was able to renew for 6 months at 5% before the CD rates dropped in September. The Waukesha State Bank CDs mature in January, so those two I will need to work on negotiating new rates. We earned approximately 25,000 on those in 2024. So between the credit card rebates we earn and then the CD interest, that's about 60,000. So now our portfolio is a little more diverse with the total CDs at 1 million. So we're not simply relying on those money market account rates, which will be declining. So the CD rates did drop in September right after the Fed's rate drop was announced, and money markets are dropping as well. So LGIP rate was down from 5.39% in January to currently 4.93% as of October. So nearly 50 basis points. So just a market update on that. At the September Fed meeting, the rate drop was announced by 50 basis points, and that now we're at a range of about 4.75% to 5% in the market. That was the first rate reduction in over 4 years. So it's aimed at supporting. They have a dual mandate of employment and inflation goals, trying to get inflation down to 2%. The US Fed policymakers predict another 25 to 50 basis points by the end of December 2024. So potentially a rate cut in November and then again in December. So then we would end about 4.5%. So I will tune in tomorrow to the Fed's press conference, and I will keep you posted. They are mentioning a slower, a more gradual rate decline, like another full percentage point in 2025. So again, I will keep you posted. We won't see low investment rates where it'll affect our interest until sometime next year. Obviously it could be good for potential borrowing in 2025. And that's it. So if you have any questions, once you look into the detailed pages after the investments, let me know and I can dig into any of the line items or departments for you.
Any questions?
Good job, thank you.
Yes, very thorough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9, utility account quarterly report.
Thank you. The utility itself, everything is pretty much driven by the charges that we get from Sussex for the processing of sewage. And they are up significant from last year and also well over our budget. This is due to two things. Obviously, we had a very wet spring. There was a lot more processing in the springtime. But the other thing that has happened is that there is an I&I situation in the Lannon Interceptor, and all the users of the Lannon Interceptor are being billed for that I&I that was not budgeted and not planned for. So that's one of the prime drivers. Also, we've expanded the number of commercial accounts in the business park. That has created additional usage. Those customers are flow-through customers, which means whatever Sussex bills us, we bill to the consumer and then add a administrative charge. So the cost is going up, but the revenue is going up proportionally, which is not the case for the residential customers who are billed a fixed amount each month or each quarter, excuse me. And with the wet spring, we just saw a lot more usage, primarily in one of the lift stations, and we're still investigating whether the disproportionate amount at that lift station is it due to a meter error like we had at Janine several years ago, or if it's a real error. And so that's still under investigation. Also, the engineering group is working on trying to identify the I&I, whether it is our responsibility or Menominee Falls or Lannon's responsibility, and try instead of just taking this proportionate charge. At the end of September, the cash balances for the company or for the utility were up $29,000. The restricted cash increased by 54, so the unrestricted cash is down by $29,000, and that is attributable mostly to the unplanned treatment costs that we're experiencing. Other than that, for the operating costs, engineering costs have been higher than prior years, mostly because of the activities that we've engaged the engineer to work on. Some of it we recover through billing to the Richmond school and to the village, but there's a lot of work that they've been doing as far as improving maps, et cetera, that are strictly for the district. This has been offset somewhat by the fact that our repair and maintenance costs are much lower than they have been in the past year. We've been very fortunate with the grinder pumps, and we have not had the number of failures in the grinder pump area that we have had in the past. Beyond that, it's pretty much the operations are continuing pretty much like they have over the last several years. Are there any questions?
What's the administrative charge you charge for leads over there?
What's that?
For the businesses, you said you tack on, I don't think I've ever heard of the fee that you charge.
There's for those people that their flow goes through the Lannon Interceptor, there's a charge per gallon on I want to believe it's 90 cents. I'm going off the top of my memory. I'm not sure.
Okay.
And then the administrative charge is 11 cents. 9 cents per unit of billing. So it's per 1,000 gallons.
Does that really cover your time?
Does it? Yes.
Right, thank you.
Do you have any idea when that? Maybe checking, finding out about that I&I
Yeah.
interceptor?
Well, I think there's a report coming from Public Works on the work that they're doing there, but it's a matter of us putting a meter in to meter the flow from the business park to establish what is flowing, because right now we don't know what's flowing in from the business park.
Any questions for Mike? Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Item 10, new business, approval of the proposed 2025 Village of Lisbon budget. We have our budget proposed, Kathy's last budget. Thank you to my last budget.
Do you have a motion? On the back of the, what's for consideration? Covered all of them.
Well, I guess I'll make that motion since it's my last. Uh, uh, I make a motion to approve the 2025 general budget in the amount of $8,419,638. The capital budget in the amount of $3,364,400. The compost budget in the amount of $46,602. The TID number 1 budget of $245. The stormwater budget in the amount of $275,210. The utility budget in the amount of $521,165. And the debt service budget of $1,634,759.
I'll second that motion. Motion's been made and seconded. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5. Item B, approval of the staff authored park survey and authorized distribution of the same.
It's in your packet. So this, kind of went through our committee a couple of times. We looked at, surveys that went out from, districts in the area, so we, took a lot of, thought process from them, but I think this is a pretty good, indicator of what we want to know about our parks, just to know that we're on track with what we've got going on right now, so.
How would this be distributed?
Well, what's that?
No, that was what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, well, we originally wanted to put it in with the tax bills.
We're not doing an online one?
I don't know, can we do it online?
I mean, I don't want to get, I'm wondering, is there a way we can do this all online? Like people log in online and.
Can we
check
do it
back
one
and-
time only? Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree.
Cause I mean, yeah, I don't want to do this on paper personally.
Well, could we could put a notice in the tax bills to go online and complete the survey?
That's a good idea already.
I agree with that.
The survey, I just, I thought, if we were going to, early 2025, do a park study, they are gonna do a survey of our residents, and if we're gonna do a survey now and then survey later, will people
Oh,
actually
yeah.
consider the second survey? Yeah.
So this isn't part of it.
Do we-
not part
No, this would, do we have any information on that? Of the, doing the park survey with the,
That's
company.
part of, but all of the companies that do the park study, they do a survey to the residents. So, for them, they can get a good feel of how the residents parks and what they like to see in the.
so if we've already done one, could that be part of the RFP that we send out that we've done a survey? Can we include that in there?
And then thought, sorry, these people do it for a living, and they would probably ask people questions. But
We hadn't approved whether we were gonna do a full park survey yet, did we?
no, no, it'll be like 25. 25.
I mean, this is kind of where we've been back and forth about whether we're gonna actually do this full survey or not. For the whole park study. So, I mean, if we're gonna do it, then if we're gonna do this, then we don't make it part of what the study would be. That's where I would go with this. We
I
do
would say
our-
if you're gonna do the study, you let them do the. Cause they'll have, I'm sure, digital and everything else and have an ability to do it.
Yeah, they probably would.
And I can imagine they would work with us and tailor that accordingly. It's not every community is the same.
True.
Do you think this is really gonna help them? And what we decide to do in the park, do this survey?
Well, yeah, you get input from the community, because nobody really comes to the meetings, right? You know, you want
Right.
input from the public, so to get input from the public, you gotta, go out there and ask them for it.
I just wanna make
I
sure
mean-
this is gonna go out, like, I don't want people walking around the park and only handing it.
Yeah,
We've had
no,
this discussion that. Whatever park you're at, that's what they're gonna reply to, we need to get it to the actual.
absolutely, to the residents, to all the residents, yeah,
And that's,
100%.
that's the other thing, is putting it on the website. Anybody can click and answer. People that don't. really-
The same with this, you can make 75 copies of this and just
Pass it around.
Mhm.
do whatever they want. and-
Yep. So would the professional company that would do the entire park survey or the planning thing, would they have a way to get to our residents specifically?
I think that would be part of this.
I mean, there's ways,
How they do it by address or how it's delivered. The notice.
you can do things like putting up even a QR code in the park where you click on it and you go on an app and you have to register with an email address. I mean, that's a good way, and I mean, that's how I've seen it. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to have it for other people too, but I mean, it's.
Well, you have to have it posted other places in the parks too, because they're kind of running into the same thing, just getting.
You
Yeah,
have
for the
it
people
people
that-
Paul or in parks, Facebook. There's a lot of different.
Yeah.
Things you could use on that.
I think my only thoughts are. To wait until we have a professional do it, and do these surveys all the time, which. I would ask the questions, see what the answer is.
I just don't want any bad blood with the parks committee over this thing, because you guys put this together.
Well, I can say that they also feel like with the plan that they put together with their prioritization of what we're gonna hope to do, that there's already a lot of thought that's gone into it, so. Kind of the thought, and I've said this at prior meetings too, that, and we only are working with a $25,000 number, we don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent, it could be high, could be low, could be anything, but. The big number to, that could go back into what we're doing right now and, work this ourselves, so. That's kind of where the balance is gonna go now.
And that doesn't say like, although it's in the budget, it doesn't say that you have to do the survey.
Mhm.
I mean, you have to do the park study, it's just that we've heard over and over that we want a park study to understand the best way to use the parks before we spend more money in the parks. I think having somebody that's professional that does this for a living, design and park architects, might have a little more input than the 7 people we have on the-
Well, we could give this to the outfit and say, this is what our park department would think was relevant information. Because they spent
Appropriate.
time on it, that maybe they could incorporate some of it and look at it and see.
I mean, I'd like to know what the actual cost of the study would be.
It's,
That would be 1.5. Yeah, I mean, you've got time.
Well, then I say we table this then until then, and we look at it, and if it's, outrageously expensive, then we.
right now, we're at that point where we're gonna be transitioning and it's.
Right.
this
Right,
is
no,
gonna
yeah,
be
I get it, yeah, I get it.
You okay with them? I don't know what you table on the bill, or that would be, table.
No action.
Just,
Yeah, just no action.
right.
Can you
Yeah.
explain to the Parks Committee? Exactly why?
Yes,
Okay, you just don't wanna.
oh, no, that will be well understood.
Everybody okay with that?
Yes.
I do have a question though. Have you ever checked into any grant money? For a park at all, for what you're trying to do here?
Well, that's something that we're gonna be looking into a lot deeper, that's one thing that we spoke to the new administrator about, looking into a lot more grants.
Okay.
We don't have anybody that really is a grant writer per se yet, so we've gotta, I think there's a way to do them and way not to do them, so we've gotta kind of really work on that.
Is this $2 million that's in the budget, is that gonna be spent in a 12-month period? You know, in it 1 year, or is this a thing that's gonna go on for a couple of years to kind of finish the project?
You, you have, if you, borrow sometime in the middle of the next year, you'll have 3 years from the time that you borrow. So it's it would be an ongoing project. There's no way you can get in 1 year, $2 million spent and work done,
Right.
in parks. So it would be a gradual use of the money is set aside for park improvements. That's one of the things during budget discussions. The board wanted to make sure that they had money set aside for such happening.
No, you just said you were gonna borrow it, so I'm just a little confused. Money is there for the park, the $2 million?
No, it'd be borrowed.
Borrow,
Would be borrowed.
okay. All right, that's what I thought, thank you.
Mark, anyone for you?
I would agree with, take no action on it this time.
Me too.
We will take no action on item B and move on to item C. Approval of flush toilets at Lisbon Community Park with possible multi-use structure.
Yeah, I mean, this is all part of the, kind of the same thing, but that is something that, was the number one priority from the Parks Committees to get flush toilets up at LCP, especially with the addition of the baseball field. So this is something that, we'd really like to move ahead on. And we do, we have a number of different, designs on here, so. Oh, they're attached, yeah. So we can take a look at those, but this is something that I think everybody has agreed to, that this is really a kind of a priority to do this, to get this moving along as quickly as possible.
The discussion we've had in the past on this specific subject, with this information, was that we didn't know where to put it. So I hadn't gone and I hadn't brought somebody out to take a look at two possible, laterals that could be put in, close by where we have water, the discussion at the level was, we don't know where to put it. So, reminding you what the discussion was like, I'm not sure exactly where you're gonna put something like this.
This is after I figured in with the ball diamond and possibly part of the park. Not the survey. So I guess I wouldn't be willing to just, I mean, I'm in concept, I want it, and I think everybody here does. I don't want this to be that. Like, we don't know where it's going or anything else yet, so there's really nothing to approve other than a concept, correct?
We don't really have the $84,000.
Right, yeah, that'll be part of that. Park borrow,
Right.
which is in the capital improvement plan.
Right.
For the parks. So I don't know what to do here.
I'm not even sure why it's on here, so we'll just do no action on this too and make it all part of the thing. I mean, there was,
Yeah, we approved it in concept, we did. I mean, we did it in capital, in our capital planning that we want to do this,
Mhm.
so.
I think the board heard the park committee and the requests that the park committee had, and they addressed it in the budget, the capital budget. But they have steps that they want to take before they do this.
Right.
Well, it's just, an explanation of why it is on the agenda is because when the Parks Committee made their motions on them at last month's meeting, they motioned to recommend that village board approve. So it has to go on.
got it, okay, thank you.
So we can just take no action.
I mean, we've already taken,
Okay,
the steps towards doing this. Just like when we're buying a patrol truck or something, and we in budgeting, we take action to say we're going to do this for a plow truck, but. It won't happen until all the plans are brought forward, so.
Until we actually get the quotes in and such, at that point, that's when we do it. You guys approve the plan.
And I'm over talking this just so the Parks Committee knows, this isn't like not shunning them here, it's just. This isn't the right time. In my opinion.
And I think you've addressed it in the budget to take care of it.
there's a definite willingness to do it. We just gotta get to the point.
And the Parks Committee is aware that there's a willingness and to do that right now. So they're aware of that.
Okay.
So I think they'll be pretty happy with that.
Any discussion from the board on this anymore? Marketing?
No, I think it's best to put it in that 2025 project discussion that we'll have.
Becky, anything else?
I just think we might wanna think about more than one toilet.
I agree.
I mean, if you're gonna do this, you need more than one toilet. Yeah, so,
Well,
Agreed.
this,
Stall for each. Yeah, 2 stalls. If it's.
right,
gender
One,
specific,
well,
it's general neutral.
yeah, there, it says one men's and one woman. So I think that, if we're gonna do it, we need to put in more than that, so.
I think the person that does the study will help you with that.
Right.
Figuring out the number of people that will be at the park, by looking at the size and what activities are going to be at the park in the future, or what is in that park currently. And they'd be able to have the number of stalls.
Okay.
Good.
Who decides where to put the stalls?
I think the design of the park will make the difference on where it would be.
Are you gonna come and have the ground tested for conventional system?
That would be
Because the mound system would be.
that's the best. Actually, and they were gonna do the test floors. But then we kind of pushed down the road until we got to this point where we knew we had the funding and the desire to fund this type of environment. But they thought that they could. I did have someone come out and they looked and they thought that there was 2 spots right up by the ball diamond and one by the gazebo that were good spots.
Paula, was this from Crest Precast? Was this narrowed down from other options?
there were a lot of other options on the table. But this was kind of the one that they wanted to say, just with the ball diamond in mind, kind of get this one prioritized, if you will. That there could be other structures or things put in, but just again, with the ball diamond going in. Just the thought of getting the flush toilets up there even to begin with was just very much on their minds. It's been talked about for so many years.
We also talked, when I spoke with, the guys from both the precast company and the sewer, gentleman that came out, they, thought that it would be doable to take our current, toilets and use that building as changing that into a flush toilet. Wouldn't be a building that would be just demolished. It would actually be something we could possibly be used in the future for flush toilets.
Also too, was there an RFP solicitation done for any of this?
Not-
So,
No.
I mean, due to the cost too, we're gonna have to go through that process.
This was actually the same company that Hamilton School District used for their new bathrooms a couple of years ago from by the tennis court. So that was-
Anything else? Well, we'll follow suit on this one and take no action tonight. Move on to item D, the OPIT's request for an extension of compliance order issued on 9/22/2024 for SBT 0193.139.
And Mr. Opitz is here in the audience. So he has done some progress. We have a report from our building inspector that states that he's gone out and although he can't say it's substantial progress, he has made some progress cleaning some items up. But I think hearing Mr. Opitz may help you make a determination. We're seeing a 30-day extension on his non-compliance to get his property in sequence. Come on.
have made substantial progress, and especially the last couple of days. They cut all the branches down from the Austrian pines that are along the driveway. They stacked it all up on the driveway, been working on cutting down metal from the old milk waving that's embedded in the front lawn of the place. I got, I still have to take 2 loads to the recycling center. Problem is, it's open Monday and Saturdays. I have to take 1, 2 loads to the metal scrap yard. We've got to fix one vehicle. And that update the plates on 2 vehicles. And then the little the ruling is a little ambiguous as far as wood, putting up the wood. Does that include firewood? Does it have to be split? Mhm. And I had intentions of cleaning up the property earlier this year. However, I wound up with heart failure in July. And last week I couldn't work 2 days because I had some stitches put in my face. A lot of things that came up to us. And the doctor didn't want me to work for 2 days.
I think the question that always comes up is the number of days that he's asking for. If that's going to be enough for him to actually complete the work that he needs to. So he doesn't have to come back and ask for more time.
And I go to rehab 3 times a week at Greater Intensive Care Rehab. So basically, I only got Tuesdays and Thursdays and afternoons on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and work or weekends.
Can I ask a question? Do you live on 126th Street or do you live on Fieldstone Lane?
I have 3 places.
No, that's not the question.
Yeah.
Do you live on Fieldstone Lane? Is that your primary residence?
No,
Is 126th Street your primary residence?
no,
Okay, then it's the third one. Who lives on Fieldstone Lane?
I do. I kind of use it more like a cottage.
So you don't rent it out or anything?
No,
So you live in all 3 places?
no, my primary residence is in Menominee Falls.
But, the other question was as far as timing, if you're asking for 30 days, but in 30 days you can't get it done. You're bringing it back here again.
Right.
So can you get this, this, with your condition and the amount, I'm not seeing a picture here, but this sounds like a lot of work.
It is.
So how much time do you actually need to get this done? If this didn't happen overnight, so obviously it's not gonna get cleaned up overnight.
Yeah. 2 months at the latest.
Even with winter.
Yeah. And the problem is, moving the lawn tractors, I have a trailer and I can only move one at a time.
Are you just junking them or are you,
No,
okay,
well, my garage door broke, so I want to fix that and put some in there.
When are you gonna fix your garage door then? In this time frame?
Yeah.
Cause that was the question I was gonna say, why can't you get those tractors in your garage?
And I put a bucket on one, it won't go up more than 3 feet, and the other one, of course, is spring both.
I would be willing to give him 60 days.
I've been following your project. I do applaud you for making forward progress on your property. I drive by it several times a week and have noticed a substantial difference. I think the biggest thing for the neighborhood is just keeping the grass trimmed. And I see that it does get quite long and then probably causes you more work,
Right.
but good thing is we're moving into dormant grass season, so I thought of a way to do it. Our next meeting is the 11th. I'll give you 5 weeks. I thought of granting that extension and then asking for a status report. on these items that are outlined in the staff report.
Hmm.
You know, I think in 30 days, you can maybe not get all these done, but a substantial thing. I'd hate to see. I don't think pushing it 60 days to January is gonna do you any good because we could have snow in 30 days.
Yeah.
So I think a way to keep on track and know where we're at with this is to give you to the next board meeting and ask for a status of the items. That would allow staff to go back out there and check on it as well. Is that something you could work with or?
Yeah. That's fine.
I just don't see a lot of work likely happening in December with potential, not gonna say the S word, but could happen. And it's gonna get colder. It's gonna be a lot harder to work out in the yard, especially if you are experiencing some ailments. I mean, our end goal is just to keep moving forward. And we can be realistic with you.
Is there anything with having a farm tractor on the driveway?
I mean, I guess I'd have to know what it is to even comment because some probably would not fit in your neighborhood there. But I don't know. Farm tractor is very,
Pardon?
Usable vehicle.
Yeah, you just gotta put the battery in.
Plates or ordinance.
yeah, I didn't know if there's any zoning considerations because
You just wanted it to get like 10 yards of topsoil and spread on the lawn. And then get rid of it.
yeah, I mean, that's totally up to your prerogative, but I don't think that has any bearing on the items requested by the staff report. Obviously, it's probably gonna make your yard look nicer, but growing grass on it at this time of year is unlikely.
Is this the first time that you've been notified that on September 14th?
22nd here.
Is it? Yes, on September 22nd, so you've never been asked to clean up anything beforehand?
Cut my grass, and it's like that.
Paula, any thoughts?
I would be in favor of Mark's proposal.
I would be too.
We good with that?
Yeah.
We'll put that in a motion.
Yeah, and I just want to state too that, you know, obviously that you're looking for an extension, if you're out of compliance at that date, you know, it may not. You could also ask for another extension, but that may not be the decision of the board at that time. So I think this is a good way to keep you on track and then give us good feedback to know you are on track. So, I'd make a motion to extend the compliance to 30 days, or correction, until December, which is 11th. And also have a visit from the inspector. Also have Mr. Opitz appear at the 11th and give a status report of where he's at.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, sir. All right, item 11 is a closed session. Went to Wisconsin statute 1925, parent C for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. More specifically regarding DPW personnel review and proposed administrative contract for Daniel Green. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make a motion.
Moved by Mark, is there a second? Second by Becky. Call vote, please.
President Osterman,
Aye.
trustee Plochecker,
Aye.
trustee Moonen,
Aye.
trustee Beal,
Aye.
trustee Quinn.
Aye.
Closed session at 7:33.
Just a moment to step back. For the recording.